Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing a review over Black Widow. I'm gonna have this be a non-spoiler review because this movie, one, has not been out for very long, and also it's premiere access, which I know a lot of people do not use. Yes, it's in theaters, but just with everything going on in the world, I think it would be great, um, for me just to do a non-spoiler review because I think a lot of people haven't watched this movie yet, so I'm gonna do non-spoiler. So unless you don't want to know anything, what I'm going to be talking about is my thoughts on the movie and some background knowledge, basically the stuff in the trailers. So if you don't want to know anything, I wouldn't watch this video, but if you watch the trailers, you should be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna do a non-spoiler review for this one. This was the first time I did Premiere Access, and it worked pretty well, although it is kind of pricey at $30. I It's great for what it's there for. So I watched this movie and I absolutely loved it. This movie is so good. Let's just start with Natasha. It was so great to see her again, especially after what happened. It was so good to see her, and seeing her was just so much fun, and all of these new characters were so great. Her like these new characters that she was around and that she was just so good. I loved all the new characters and everything about her past that we got to know. I knew a lot of her past just because I know a little bit about her past from the comics, but I don't think I quite knew the extent of it, and it was just really nice to know more about her past because they talk about that, and like they said, they do talk about what happened in Budapest, and Budapest is just so fun. That whole entire thing, I was like, yeah, we finally know what happened. So I personally really enjoyed it. um let's just Natasha as a character, as always, is fantastic. I loved her in this movie. She is hilarious. Just her new costume is so great. All the new characters are great too. Just how they interact with each other, and the action in this movie was so good. The action in this movie was phenomenal. Um, it's a Marvel movie, you're expecting it to have good action, but this action was so good. I loved this action in this movie. Another thing I loved was the humor. I talked a little bit about it with Natasha's, but all the other characters really, really funny too. Everyone in this movie just was so great, and I can't wait to see if they bring out these characters again, because every single character I absolutely loved. And that ending, although I'm not going to tell you what it was so sweet and it was just so nice. I'm going to say this, I'm not going to tell you what's inside, like, what's happening in the end credit scene, but stay for the end credit scene. Because it's a chaotic one. Stay for the end credit scene, okay? Especially if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Stay for it. Okay, now that that's out of the way, now you know to stay for the end credit scene. It's just overall is so much fun. I love all the new characters. I love all the returning characters. It's such a funny show. The action is so good. Just everything about the show is great. I love references to other movies that they've made, and this movie did a lot of that, and it was so good because they would talk about Clint. They talked about Clint a lot in this movie, and I was like, yay, Hawkeye! We love Clint. I love Clint. He's so much fun. And all of that stuff. They would talk about things that happened in other movies, and I just love, that's something I personally love. And So I was excited that they talked a lot about what happened in her past, and they talked a lot. You get to know why Natasha is the way that she is a lot more. You get to understand more about who Natasha is, probably from this movie alone, than all of the other movies combined. So I really enjoyed this movie as someone who loves Natasha's character, because we got to understand why she is the way she is, and just everything about her was so much fun, and I loved seeing her again. And like, her spy skills in this movie were so good. The villain, not gonna reveal who it is, but the villain was so good. It was just, this movie was a movie like you were on the edge of your seat the whole entire time. There wasn't a single time you're like, this is kind of boring. Never. Either action was happening, is something funny was happening, you were understanding more of the Natasha or the other characters around her. All the characters worked well together. They all worked so well. They were such a good team, and I loved them. I loved these characters and how they worked together. I loved how their like comedic timing worked off each other, because like there were some jokes that like wouldn't be funny if they said it just alone, but the other person's reaction to the joke just made it so funny and made both parts of the joke so funny. So like they just worked well together, and everyone in this movie is so extremely talented. Marvel really knows what they're doing with this movie. This movie probably is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies. Um and it's it's so good. I love Natasha. I've always loved Natasha. So getting to know more about our character like on screen was just so much fun, and I loved seeing this movie. It was so good. Just this movie. If you have not watched this movie, I do understand. It's not been out for very long. It's only premiere access and in theaters right now, so I completely understand if you can't watch it. But if you are able to watch it, I would highly recommend this movie. This movie is just so much fun. You walk out of this movie having so many questions, but also like having a good time. And it's just, you walk out of the movie with a smile on your face. At least I know I did. So that it's fantastic. If you can watch this movie, I completely understand with the pandemic and money right now. I completely understand if you cannot watch this movie, but if you can, I would highly recommend it. So those are my thoughts over Black Widow. I loved it. I already talked about it, so you already know. But I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's so much fun. And if it's on when it's on Disney Plus, you need to watch it, like for free with the subscription, of course. But if you have Disney Plus and when it goes on there, I would highly recommend to watch this movie. I'm just recommending this movie because it's so good. So that is my thoughts over Black Widow. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you 3000 and stay safe. Bye!